Okay, does one more person want to answer this? What do you mean by this
I
personal
I will
assessment?
too.
Yes, Munira?
Hi, I'm Munira, and this personal working style assessment is mainly your own personality, your work personality. How do you portray yourself, and your ability of how you can reach different people through your attitude and your work. The technique which you use through reaching people to use.
Okay, fine. Thanks for that. So I just want to go back a bit. We're looking at focusing on learning objectives. One of the things which I constantly suggest to people is that your learning objective should be focused on what you see or what you hear. In terms of the person's personal working style assessment, this assessment is nothing but a pre-assessment of eventually when you train somebody. I'm just assuming that a majority of us are working with people who do some sort of work. Okay, so even if you're a sports trainer or a coach, you can just consider that as work. You will look at what you see and what you hear, and eventually also look at what would be evidence of good performance. How would you know that the person is improved? How would you know that the person's gotten better? It's important to keep this in mind, whether you do offline training, classroom sessions, online training, whatever sort of training, right? So for example, at the end of this session, one of the things I expect to see, one of the things I expect to see is members of this team being able to do something on their own in terms of online learning. And when I say something, I have a specific set of things. One of the things which I expect to hear is participants able to talk about it and express themselves and convey idea on a topic through an online platform. That to me will be evidence. If that happens, that's an evidence of how things have gone well. And that's what I mean by focusing on learning objectives. At the end of the day, the learning objective has to be what you saw or what you heard. Somebody asked me recently, can it be what you smelled? Or can it be what you tasted? Well, if you're working for a cafe or if you're a chef, then yeah, the sign of somebody who's trained as a good assistant chef could be that the food smells and tastes good. But at the end of the day, it has to be evidence-based. This point at the right about evidence, this is a critical point of it. You have to be able to see and say whether the person's done a good job or trained, being able to meet the spots or not. I hope you're with me so far.
Yes.
Okay. All right. So let me move on to the next part, which is taking the fear out of shifting into online. Now, I want to just get some of you to share your thoughts on it. Since this is a very, very basic exercise, I will put you into breakout teams so that we just try out the breakout team concept so that you also get used to it. So let me have about 6 teams here. Okay. Okay, I'm going to just assign you into some rooms. So the first exercise, let's just do it through this alphabetical order. Abhinav, somebody called support, okay. Anshuman, Bhavya, and Bhavna. You guys are in this team. Then second team is going to be Bodhih training. I think that's Manjunath, Cyril, Deepak, Dev, and Kiranjot. Third team is going to be Lazarus, Munira, Pranab, Ranmeet, and Samiksha. Then the fourth team is going to be Shashikiran, Sheetal, Shruti, Sunita Lawrence, and Supriya. And the fifth team is going to be Trini, Sharing, Usha, and Vishal. And the sixth team I'm going to delete because I think some of them are yet to join. Okay, so here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to put you into the team. What I want you to discuss is what's helped you. I'm sure at least some of you, if you're sitting here, if you're sitting in this Zoom session, it means that you have done some kind of online training or you must have at least attended. But I'm interested to hear from those of you who have conducted some online training. What has helped you shift? When did you shift into online and what really helped you make the shift? And then when we come back, I'll tell you what has helped me make the shift. Okay. I hope the instructions for the session are clear.
Yes, Vinesh.
Questions? If you don't
Can
have a
you
question,
repeat
you have to
once
say
again,
no.
please? Vinesh, can you please repeat once again?
Yeah. So I will be putting you into teams. So Usha, for example, you are in team number 5, along with Trini, Sharing, and Vishal.
Okay.
What you have to talk to them and understand from each other what has really helped you as a team move into online training sessions. Okay, and I'm assuming that somebody in the team must have done online training. And once you finish your discussion, you will come back, and then we will have a, you can share your ideas. Maybe one person from each team can share. I hope that's clear, Usha.
Vinesh, this is
Yeah.
Deepak here.
Thanks, Vinesh. Thanks.
Vinesh, is it only about shifting to conducting online training or also attending online training?
Well, I'd like you to focus on conducting, because the focus of this workshop is how to conduct effective online learning sessions. If you have something useful to say about attending, which has also helped you, welcome to share it.
Yeah, the reason why I mentioned is because your participants who you are going to want to attract may have some of the challenges you may have faced as well.
Sure. Good thought. You can also share that. No stress. Okay. All right. So I'm going to give you about, this exercise is going to be just 5 minutes. And after 5 minutes, you're going to come back into this main room. Okay. Your time starts now. You will receive a prompt. Just click on that. You'll get into the room automatically. Pallavi, I have assigned you to team 5. Just accept the prompt, Pallavi. Pranab, I want you to accept the prompt. Otherwise, you're going to remain in this main room. Yeah.
One session only that was like 2 months ago, and I agree to what the gentleman said. I'm sorry, I forgot your name. However, I also found that people, Abhinav, hi Abhinav. Okay, sorry about that. So I also found that the focus was not there. The focus was not there. The people were trying to be attentive. However, no matter how many activities I added or got them engaged, maybe because he worked night shifts, so it could be an issue there as well. So I think I would also like to focus on that area. I've just conducted one. After that, I had this thought that we could learn better and maybe present it better.
See, I would like to say that Anshuman here. I'd like to see that I have attended some of the online sessions, but what I feel is the great challenge is to get the audience engaged. The main challenge for the instructor is to get the audience.
This is Deepak here. I used online a lot for coaching, and I saw its effectiveness. And I saw that it allows my reach to really become extensive. So that's what I think helped me. And another factor that helped me a lot, I hate sitting in the traffic, being from Bombay. And I thought, that was a very important factor that kind of pushed me to consider this platform. I have
That's where the problem also comes. Another thing is what I've noticed is, yes, like what you said, Ramit, that we have to have everybody on mute. Otherwise, the disturbance and all does not allow us to reach the people who act, the messages what we want us to. So Vinesh, you're on mute. We can't hear you.
Unmute yourself.
Yes. Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes, Videsh.
Yes.
Okay. Let's start with, I could see that discussions were still going on while we finished, but let's start with anybody from this team, Abhinav, Anshuman, Bhavya, Bhavna, anybody. Tell me what was the strongest idea? Tell me one strong idea. That's good enough for now.
Vinesh, we focused on
focus part of our main discussion point was the focus. I hope you can hear me properly.
Yeah.
So our concern was that all of us have done online trainings, but how to keep the audience engaged and how to keep the audience focused on the session. That is the main challenge what we are facing.
That's the main challenge. Okay, just 1 second. I'm going to just get back to this. So if you remember, taking the fear out of shifting into online learning. Okay, what has helped members of your team take the fear out of shifting into online learning?
It has actually, to be honest enough, we have still, as a company, as a trainer, we have not shifted to online training personally. This is my view. We have not shifted yet to the online training completely. It is just that certain part of the trainings are done online, but let's say the 70% of it is the classroom training.
Okay.
And maybe the reason for that is that we do a lot of technical trainings. It's a lot of things where people have to touch and feel the products. Maybe it is because of that also.
Okay. Sure. I get that. So you're saying that the transition is still in the process. Somebody from this team, Cyril, Deepak, Dev, Kiranjot, Manjunath, can one person just represent your team and tell me what's your strongest idea?
Hello.
Yes.
Yeah, so something which came across, the reason was, one was the need of the hour in terms of multi-locational presence or global audience. Second was also there was a need for reduction of cost. So once you actually go on to online, there are these things can take place. I mean, we can definitely reduce cost. You can cater to global audience. So I think this was the primary reasons why we thought of getting to shift.
Sure. Thanks, Dave. I think those are very valid reasons. I think that's why the whole world is shifting online now. Reduce cost, and because it's the need of the hour. Okay.
Yes.
All right. Thanks. Somebody from this team, Lazarus, Munira, Ranmeet, Samiksha. One person. Can you tell me your strongest idea?
Yeah, so one of the strongest idea that we discussed is when we are having content online, there is a limitation of time. So you have to be able to kind of arrange your content in a way that you are able to finish the whole thing in time. So one has to have control on the total content and total time, and don't allow that particular thing to slip. And the second important idea was the muting and unmuting of participant, because that can create a lot of chaos.
Okay. So what has helped you move online? What has helped you take the fear out of online training and move online? Anybody in your team? What you're telling me is kind of what to watch out for when you're doing online.
It's the need of today. If you see travel and everything, you're saving a lot of cost and a lot of resources from the company. Your time, everything is saved when you are going online. You can do it from wherever, whenever, and you can reach people who are not blocked in a room. You don't need to collect them in a blocked room. It can be any part of the world, wherever they are. So, it's more convenient for everybody to reach there online rather than collecting one in a platform.
Sure. Thanks, Munira. So essentially, it's basically the huge potential and the need of the hour. Somebody from this team, Shashi, Sheetal, Shruti, Sunita, Supriya, can you just represent your team and tell me what has helped you move online? Yeah, Supriya.
Okay, from the discussion, there were three major points. One was the need of the hour, because due to the lockdown, the work has to continue. So online was one of the options. Second, it gives better outreach. Even sitting at one place, you can reach to many of your team members sitting elsewhere. Second is immediate access to certain participants. Like one of, I think Sunita was mentioning, being a coach, that her client can immediately call her up and they have immediate, this session. So that
Okay.
was one. Third was there was a requirement to explore new ways of training. We are into the old school of having the face-to-face interactions all the time. So there's always a need where, like in today's scenario where there's a lockdown, we still have to continue. So we have to explore new ways of training. So these are the three major points that our team has group has.
Sure. Thanks, Supriya. So once again, I think it's been the lockdown has really pushed a lot of us over the edge, at least in terms of moving into online. Thanks for that. The last team, Pallavi, Trini, Sharing, Usha, Vishal, can one of you just represent your team and tell me what has helped you pull the fear out of online and move online to training?
So, hi, Vinesh.
Yeah.
Almost all the points are covered by everybody, so there's nothing new that we are adding. They're the same.
Okay.
And I believe that it is mostly convenience of your own space and saving time, resources, money, and of course, the need of the hour. And one major thing is being able to collaborate globally.
Okay. Sure, sounds good.
I've never had access to the on-site employees till now. And luckily for me, this is a great experience.
This is a great experience. In fact, that's what most of the companies are realizing, because Bodhih ourselves, we had a session which we were supposed to do as a classroom session in Hyderabad a couple of weeks ago. And I was supposed to travel there, but because of everything that was happening, I didn't travel. And then we moved it into an online session. And suddenly, it stopped being a Hyderabad program and it became a worldwide program. So we had somebody from Qatar, somebody from Middle East, somebody from Pune, and it became like, an all India program. Somebody else was saying something from your team?
Yes, Vinesh, I have a point to add.
Sure,
I mentioned, I'm a product trainer, so mostly our sessions also involve a lot of hands-on training. So I think knowing the tool that you're using for your online session is important, because honestly speaking, I didn't know this concept of breakout rooms. It's really nice, and I'm going to try and implement it next time.
Sure. That's brilliant, Sheetal. Hang on, we're going to do more things. I want to also share with you some things which have helped me. Thanks for your inputs on this. Yes.
Just one more point which I was about to share, and the breakout closed quickly. So one thing that has helped me is a call from the client to contribute. So in that situation, in that space, there's no scope for me to think about my own fears, but then, be the contribution that I really have to be and equip myself to learn and move on. So that's like, being pushed to do the work.
Correct.
You better learn it and get on with it. That was the situation.
That's absolutely true, Sunita. What happens is some of our best work as trainers, coaches, consultants, and I think really in any field happens because clients push us. And here's maybe an extension of that thought, even beyond, which will outlive the corona virus and the lockdown. Sometimes the clients, I've seen a lot of trainers do it. I've done it myself. A client asks you for a very, very specific program and says the program has to have this kind of delegation and this model of delegation, and we're going to focus extra on delegation. Now, suddenly, once that is over, you have a packaged, ready-made program on delegation, which sort of becomes yours. Okay. Of course, the understanding is that you will respect NDAs and non-disclosures and capture the essence of the idea rather than lift the same program. Okay. Anyway, thanks for that, Sheetal.